with that. And all I'm gonna say is this: is that if your kid is 8 years old and can't sit still in a classroom and stuff like that, remember that they're eight, okay? Um, but like I said, that just it ruined my social aspect. I felt like I didn't make as many friends as I used to.
0, 1. Let's get started.
What is up, K.M.Bers? No, I'm just playing. I will not call you guys that. If you guys watched the Q&A on the last video that I posted, you guys know that I'm ending the pod soon, so it's like, why not throw it back, dude, a little, the old, just the K&B sign, just the old mic. You guys already know what's up. This is Real Talk with K&B still. But today we are going to talk about way back in the day. If you're in your 20s or older in your 20s, you know what I mean, older than being in your 20s, you know that elementary was a long, long time ago. Today, that is what we're going to talk about. Because I feel like being in elementary is so underrated. We all talk about being back in middle school and high school, but not nobody, but like a lot of people don't talk about elementary, dude. And yeah, you may think that as like, oh, as a kid, I never had freedom. Oh, as a kid, I couldn't do this, yada, yada, yada. Bro, we had it so good in school, in elementary. You know what I mean? Like, all we did was arts and crafts and stuff like that. You did 2 + 2 = 4, bro. Like, we used to have hot chocolate parties and watch movies and stuff like that on like lazy days, basically. On it, like elementary just feels like I don't even know how to explain the word. It just feel like it wasn't real. So, but before we get started, okay? So back in the day, if you guys know that I talked about this on my ADHD episode. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. It's way when I first started the pod. But back in the day though, I got put on Adderall when I was 8 years old. So elementary to me, my social life was not all there. Um, I do remember though on Fridays we had these things called like half days, like early releases basically, and we got out at like 11 o'clock. So we started at like 7:30, got out at 11:30 type deal. And I remember though I had this medication, wasn't strong like my other medication I took, and I was bouncing off the walls. I was socializing with people. Like that's the me that I like. That's the me that I wish that I can go back to. I wish I had that in my social aspect. But as I said it before on the pod, I wasn't that big a fan of high school. Middle school I did like. Elementary just feels like a fever dream. That's the best word to describe it. I just it just doesn't feel real, like it never happened. But I do remember it. It's just so bizarre to me that how long ago it was. First on this episode we're gonna talk about kindergarten. A lot of kids when they enter kindergarten they're scared. They're scared of leaving their parents. They're so attached to them, like mom and dad, I don't want to leave you, yada yada yada. You're so used to being at home. I was in 4K when I was 4, so I never had that attachment issue. I do remember though in kindergarten, like, dude, I was a little rascal. Funny story about kindergarten. One, I did it twice. Don't Basically the whole birthday thing, the age thing, yada yada. It wasn't because always reading disability. He was not smart enough to go through to second grade or first grade. I mean, maybe I'm not that smart. But to first grade. But yeah, I know some people that skipped kindergarten. I can't imagine that, dude. The playtime, dude. Like, come on, he had like 3 recesses. So like, dude, how? Why would he want to miss kindergarten? Um, but no, so back to my story though. So in kindergarten, me and my one friend, we were spying on some girls, right? This is a lesson to not be a peeping tom. So we're running around recess or whatever, and there were some girls in this like in on the playground or whatever, and there's this like tube thing that had like holes in it, and I like poked my eye, and this one girl, I think her name was Alyssa, Vanessa, something like that. But she like reached in. I still remember till this day. I still remember the fingernail going into my eye, poked me in the eye. Teachers had to like call on my mom and stuff like that, dude. Like that taught me a lesson. That taught me not to spy on girls, dude. Do not be a peeping tom. Thank God that taught me a lesson. So yeah, kindergarten, honestly, bro, kindergarten was a blast, dude. Like, if I could have done it a third time, dude, I probably would have. No, then I would have graduated at 19. I don't want to do that. I was glad when my senior year. But no, back to my story though. So kindergarten, I would, if I had a time machine, I would go back to. So now we roll around first grade, right? Parents get a divorce and stuff like that. I move around, yada yada yada. You can cry if you want to, get some tissues, hearing divorced parents, You know what that causes? It causes a lot of trauma. No, I'm just playing. Besides the point though, I go into a new school and stuff like that. New elementary, new teacher, new students, whatever. I was so good though as a kid at socializing where I made friends instantly. I was never a shy kid and stuff like that. So I ran around like crazy, chase after some girls, like them and stuff like that. Made some friends and stuff like that. We're constantly playing lava tag on the playground. Another thing, if I had a time machine, bro, I would go back to first grade. Not gonna cap on that. Now we roll around second grade. Second grade, I got two stories, two things to say about second grade. One, that's the year that I got put on my medication. It did. It definitely did affect me throughout the years with that. And all I'm gonna say is this: is that if your kid is 8 years old and can't sit still in a classroom and stuff like that, remember that they're eight. Okay. Um, but like I said, it ruined my social aspect. I felt like I didn't make as many friends as I used to. I felt like I didn't talk to as many people as I used to, or just I felt like I wasn't enjoying the activities like I used to. It felt very different, and that's all I'm gonna say. Um, but and then also too, I believe it was either first or second. I could be wrong, but long story short, that this tooth right here, that this is a fake tooth actually. A lot of people don't know that. So I was playing volleyball. It was second grade. I was playing volleyball. Next thing you know, I ran for the other beach ball. It was volleyball. We were playing with beach balls. I ran, tripped over a beach ball, fell, knocked my tooth out, and then the tooth split in half. It was crazy. Another story about second grade, actually. Funny story. I hurt myself a lot in second grade, actually. So I really liked this one girl and stuff like that. I had a crush on her second grade through. I stopped liking her in sixth grade, but yeah, she was my elementary crush, man. So there was this thing on the playground that had like two tubes, and it was like a sliding thing. So you like put one leg on one bar and then the other leg on the other bar. Well, I wanted to impress my crush, and I did this before. I made it through, and I slid on like one bar or whatever, and I did it a few times. Okay, like I said, I did make it before, but next thing you know, I did it and I fell, knocked my lip or whatever. So would I go back to second grade? Probably not, honestly. Third grade, I had a few friends and stuff like that. I remember recess. Recess was pretty fun. Like I said, I know I had talked about the medication and socializing, but somewhat I did still make friends there. Third grade, I had a really good teacher too. Honestly, I would go back to third grade, bro. I'm not gonna cap. Um, fourth grade though, fourth grade is when we had to go on the big kid playground. Fourth grade honestly was kind of like it's kind of boring, honestly, looking on it. Like I don't remember any like I mean, we went to Madison. I live in Wisconsin. That was pretty cool. We went to the Capitol. I don't really remember any crazy stories though. But then again, I was only 10. Yeah, I guess in my lifetime that I could skip fourth grade again. I don't have to go back to that one. Now we're gonna talk at the end is fifth grade, bro. Fifth grade, you think that you're the boss, man. Like you think that you're like the everything. You think that you're the king. You get to sit in the back of the bus. It felt good to be a fifth grader, dude. I was cool with I was cool with a lot of people that year, dude. Um, if I could go back to fifth grade, I would go back to fifth grade. I'm not gonna cap on that. I remember too though, I really like outdid myself on this one. So if anybody remembers Safety Patrol was the people that like wear the bright neon straps and stuff like that. They made sure everybody crossed okay, like crossed the street okay. They made like sure everybody on the staircase is behaving, all that, yada yada yada. Well, my mindset was like, oh, they're because of how I grew up, I looked at it like, oh, they're a bunch of goody goodies, yada yada yada, said bull crap, safety this, safety that, yeah, all that. I was raised from a parent, kind of put that in my mindset. Well, Safety Patrol people got like pizza parties, bowling parties, and what did I do when I went to school? Had to sit back into the art class and do art. Yeah, yeah, real winner there, Corey. Like you really won there on that one. Missing out on fun. But yeah, no, but would I go back to elementary? That's the real question. Honestly, just being a kid again is just you don't realize on how good you have it. And I know a lot of people do say that. You don't realize that you have no stress on you. You know what I mean? Like you have dreams. You have goals and yeah, I know you can still have that in your however old you are, but at the same time it just felt good that you were fantasizing about this and it wasn't a reality yet. Reality didn't hit you yet when you're a kid. You know, running around recess with your friends, not thinking about life, don't have any insecurities, that's what I miss. I miss the fact that everybody got along. And I really had to say this on the pod, you know, the fact that I'm getting closer to Christ, that I am trying to work on myself, and I am still friends with my friends in the past, you know. My longest friendship, me and him were 8 and 9. My other friendship was since middle school. My other two friends were since high school, and other than that, though, rest of my friends I met in my 20s. A lot of people didn't do what I did, where I escaped from people that I hanged out with since elementary or middle school or high school. But what I'm getting at is if you've been friends with your friends since elementary, good for you. That is very hard to do. The fact that you guys literally grew up with each other and the fact that you guys are still friends, you guys should know everything about each other, honestly. Like you guys should be closer than ever because you guys went through your kid phase, teenage phase, adult years. Keep that up, honestly. And again, elementary is so underrated. We don't realize on how good we had it. That we all got to just run around and be free. Well, not really be free, but that we could just run around, be obnoxious, and all that. Yeah. What was that? Track and field day? That was fun. That was fun. Everybody wants to go back to that. Playtime or free time. Yeah, free time was lit, bro. I remember too, when it was reading time, I used to never read. I used to just open up the book and just like pretend I was reading, but really I was just like fantasizing, just like using my imagination. That explains a lot, honestly. But I hope you guys did like this episode. Next week we're gonna talk about middle school. Was it good? Was it bad? Some memories here and there. I really do like the segment that I'm doing, so I hope you guys enjoyed. You know what? I can't wait to have kids in the future, and I'm gonna straight up tell them you better enjoy elementary. No, I'm just playing. I hope my kids do in the future. I hope they have a good childhood, honestly. I mean, who doesn't? But you know what I mean. Um, but yeah, no, I honestly, if we had a time machine, I would go back in time to elementary. Not gonna lie. All right, but I'll see you guys later. Peace.